Welcome back to the SRM 3D Prints channel. My name is Tim. Today we're going to continue on with the SRM Marlin Special build. First thing though we're going to fix is a mismeasurement by me earlier. We got, this is supposed to be 340 millimeters, not 390 millimeters. So we're just going to translate that over. That should be. Okay, that works. So let me go find a straight edge so we can transfer that line real quick. Alright. So there's a reference line. Now I need to do a couple radiuses on that. I don't know where my radius little marker thing doohickey wandered off to. Well, I guess we're just going to do it with one that's pretty close because I'm just going to guesstimate anyway. Kind of round it by eye. Okay, so now the layout's done. I'm going to get this up on blocks, cut it out with the reciprocating saw, then we'll go in and start finishing out some of this work. Oh, I am going to do one more thing while I'm thinking about it. So the way this center line was calculated was based on a 10 millimeter thick piece of material. This material is much thicker. But what I need to do is make an offset line. I'm just going to do a 5 millimeter offset. And that will get me the face in the correct position relative to everything that matters. There's that mark. There's that mark. Okay. That helps if you actually line it up on the second mark instead of just getting one. How did it get so far up? Okay, try that again. Right way this time. Alright. I'm going to erase my extra line that I didn't want. That is that. Layout's done. Now just gotta finish this out real quick.
This small little piece didn't really need to be removed. I just wanted everything to look uniform once the side plate was put in. And now we're switched over to the Dremel with a half-inch sanding drum. And I'm just going around nibbling away at all the corners, just trying to make them as uniform as possible. It would have been a lot easier with a router, but I don't have one of those, so I'll just do it by hand. I didn't really need to do these cutouts, but I decided that since the aluminum version is going to have that, I should mimic the same. And here we are doing the last couple pieces before we switch over to the orbital sander. Again, it would have been nice with a round over bit and a router, but I don't have one of those, so kind of make do with what we have. But overall, it doesn't take very long to sand everything down, and I'll have to do some more sanding once the machinery is all assembled onto this before finishing it out.
Alright, got the next piece lined up here. It's just going to mount flush with this edge. I'm just going to mark the side here. And the magic number is 40 millimeters. So I'm going to mark it up here. Because this piece lines up right off of that same line there. So 40 millimeters is the magic number. Let me do this other side here, closer to the camera. I'll just move this over so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, this was 40 millimeters, and again, mark it up here, 40 millimeters. Okay. Now the reason I'm laying this out now is once this backing plate is actually screwed down to the bottom here, it'll be very, very difficult to do the screw hole. So we're going to work on it right now, get that all squared away before we do the final assembly here.
The final version of this will actually have all the bolt hole locations pre-located, so I don't have to do all the handwork on this. I'm just drilling them with tapping size for 1032, and then I realized that I needed to chase all the holes out on the brackets. So grabbed a clearance size for that 1032, hit all the brackets as one unit for locking them down, and just made sure everything was nice and square to the frame. The most critical part of this is just having the left and the right side be parallel to each other. When I designed the brackets, I set them up where I can run a single reference line from top to bottom to line it up, which made this process a little easier. The final version with all the holes drilled, there won't be any need for really measuring it because it'll all be pre-aligned. All you gotta do is drill them out and tap them. And here again, I'm just translating that reference 5mm offset onto there. And I was getting ready to do the same thing to that piece, and I realized it didn't matter for the one side piece. And now I'm going through and doing a pilot hole for the finishing nails, just because I don't want to split this oak, and also I don't want any of the nails to bend over, just due to the oak being difficult to drive through. I find it's a lot easier to just start the nails ahead of time, just so they're poking through a little bit, and then I added a little bit of glue just to further solidify the bond. Got the first bit of the backing plate in position. Now I'm going to do the first side plate, and again, using my reference line, I lined it up at the bottom to begin with, and then moved the top over till it lined up again with that reference line. And then this one isn't as critical, so I just lined it up on the top and then made sure the bottom two pieces were flush and drove it all the way home.
Alright, well this will wrap up part 2 of the Marlin Special build. I think next time we'll get the rest of the major hardware locked down in position, make sure everything's moving the way it's supposed to move, and tear it all apart and start some of the finishing process on this. It's going to take a fair bit to finish this one out, just because I want it to look, as nice as it can for being a prototype. Anyway, till next time.